Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Nights Roundtable Live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Christmas. It is the best time of year. It is the day where we are making our official Oscar winner predictions for the 2025 Oscars 2024 movies. Now, before we get started, really quick, a couple things I want to go off the top here, Nicholas. One, our game that we play, I'm going to briefly explain the rules in case you want to play as well. Each category, you get 2 picks. Your first choice is worth 5 points. Your second choice is worth 2 points. Except for Best Picture, you get 3 picks. Pick 1 is worth 10 points, pick 2 is worth 4 points, and pick 3 is worth 1 point. Now, with that down, I just had the pleasure of recording a podcast with We Bought a Mic, the amazing podcasters and movie reviewers over there, and it was so much fun. Ernest, Hunter, Adam, they were all so great. I loved doing it. I'd love to get them on this show sometime, but the reason I bring that up is because their video will likely post around the same time as this is going live, maybe the next day, and on that podcast, we were doing Oscar predictions, and while we mentioned in that show, hey, there are some that aren't going to be finalized yet, we reserve the right to change these. I recorded that yesterday, and boy, did I change like 3 or 4 of these bitches. I'm like, nope, I got in my head. I got in my own head and already changed them. I've already changed some, Nicholas. But I will commit today. I will commit today because this is a live video. I will lock these in my Gold Derby as my final picks. And if all my picks that I had yesterday end up being right, I will hate myself forever. So, Nicholas, before we get started, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'm terrified. I have been thinking and contemplating and probably overanalyzing so much today, and
Dude, same.
the time has finally come and I am scared.
As am I. But guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and fucking dive into this, and it's going to be something else. So, we're going to start off with some of the categories that are lesser known and kind of have them go first. And I haven't seen any of these, so this is what makes it interesting. Nick, let's start with documentary short film.
Documentary short film. Okay. I have seen 4 of the 5.
Nice.
I
Very good.
was unable to see Death by Numbers, but
Got it.
I was fortunate enough to watch the others.
Okay. I'm going to go first. My first choice is The Only Girl in the Orchestra. My second choice is I Am Ready, Warden. The reason I am picking The Girl in the Orchestra is because it is a Netflix thing. They have tons of money, and they love their Oscar campaigns. That's why it's my first choice. I Am Ready, Warden I'm picking just because I've heard good things about it from people who have seen it. So those are my 2 picks for documentary short film. How about you?
I am going to go with my heart instincts on this, which has failed me every time. But I am going to go I Am Ready, Warden.
Number one. Okay.
And I'm going to go with Incident as my second pick.
Okay. I've heard good things about Incident as well.
I really liked it. I've just seen more talk comparatively about them. I think Incident might be my favorite of the category.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I Am Ready, Warden was just very well crafted. So I'm putting that as my number 1.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough. Moving right along. I hope it comes down to that one. Next up, let's do live action short film. Oh, I didn't do the nominees of documentary short film. The other nominees, by the way, were Death by Numbers, Incident, and Instruments of a Beating Heart. The nominees for live action short film are Aline, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. I put, for my number 1 choice, I'm Not a Robot, because neither am I. And my second choice, I put Aline, because I like the play on Alien. That's directly why I picked those. How about you, buddy?
All right. I have watched all 5 of these.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I am going to go with The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent.
Okay.
As my first. I thought it was very well crafted. I thought it was very timely and topical, which is what I think is going to really ultimately push it over the edge.
Okay.
Which then directly ties to my second choice, which is Alien. Again, very topical, very well made. I think out of all of the movies, that one had the most suspense to me.
Okay.
I feel like all of them really sort of had a suspense element to it. Um, and Alien, I would say, have had me on the edge of my seat the most. I do want to give a shout out though to The Last Ranger. I did get a chance to watch that. Very well made and very cool. It's sort of about rhino conservation, and they do not shy away from showing you some more graphic elements of like the poaching going
Mm.
on there. So that would have been my third pick if we had three. I thought that was a very well made short.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for that. Next, we're going to do animated short film. The nominees are Beautiful Man, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candles, Wonder to Wander, and Yuck! Because there's an exclamation point at the end.
It's Magic Candies.
Oh, I can't read.
So yeah,
Forgive me. I'm not beating the
I
can't
also
read
saw all of
allegations.
these. I went to one of those
Nice.
AMC like screeners that does it all.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
My number one pick, knowing nothing, I put Beautiful Men, just because I enjoy the title. And my second place, I put Yuck because of the exclamation point. So there we are.
I'm gonna go with Beautiful Men. I think honestly
All right.
that it may have been my least favorite
Okay.
of all of them that I saw. To be quite frank, I didn't really enjoy any of them.
Fair.
But I have seen the talk and everything about Beautiful Men sort of being the front runner, if you will.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go Wander to Wonder because that one was my favorite,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
how I'm basing that.
Fair.
A
Perfectly
lot of
fair.
stop motion claymation this year. I feel like every
That's-
year there's like a trend that happens.
Yeah.
Like last year it was a lot of like hand drawn 2D animation. This year was a lot
Mhm.
of like claymation and stuff. I just found that interesting.
Yeah. No, very interesting. All right. Next, we're going to move on to some other categories. Nick, I'm going to pull some of these at random, buddy. Let's do music original score.
Ooh,
My
oh
number
boy.
my number one pick goes to bum 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 The Brutalist, and my number two pick goes to Conclave.
Hold on, I'm missing. Up there it is. Sorry, I couldn't find it.
You're good.
I actually am going to do exactly the same on this one.
Okay.
To be
Okay.
honest with you, I felt like I wanted to put Wicked, but I take issue with the fact of like the original score, but it's Broadway.
Yeah.
And it's a very similar score. I'm sure they have their differences and everything.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
But on the whole, that
Someone
bugged me.
Something that put me into a panic is somebody brought up like, what if like the casual voter who doesn't really care about the difference just sees Wicked in a music category and goes, "Oh, that one," and I was like, "Fuck! Don't tell me that. I'm gonna be thinking about that the whole time."
That's actually a very valid point.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. That's original score. Next, we're gonna do music original song.
Ooh.
I went number one. I went with El Mal from Amelia Perez. And number two, I did Like a Bird from Sing Sing. I refuse to believe they're going to give Diane Warren the award. They can't. It's legally not allowed. But I also think that the reason why Like a Bird's my second choice is because, maybe they don't want Sing Sing to go empty-handed, and this is the award that it could win. But I do think El Mal will take the award, mostly because it's one of the great parts of that movie. And it also is mainly featured by Zoe Saldana, who I think has been the big, catalyst for people who, even if you don't love that movie, and she's been the only one that's really avoided the controversy around it. So I'm going to go to El Mal.
It is The Journey, Diane Warren.
Yes, I believe so.
And what is the is it, does she gets nominated like every year, but she just never wins? Is that the
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go El Mal number one, and you know what? We're gonna go for the underdog, and I'm gonna go The Journey number two.
There you go. This could be her year.
Let's see. Come on, Diane. Rooting for you.
All right. Next, we're going to do production design. And before I get into this, when I did the We Bought a Mic podcast,
Yeah.
I literally went into a whole tirade about a great argument as to why I think a certain movie is going to win. And I changed my answer for this recording. So,
Oh,
I originally said that Brutalist was going to win.
Okay.
And the argument I was putting forward was what I call the phantom thread argument. Of famously, I got into an argument with a friend over what was going to win Best Costume Design the year that Phantom Thread was nominated, and I said, that movie is about designing costumes. It's going to win costume design. And my argument for Brutalist was, it's about people who build things. It's going to get production design. But dude, the more I thought about it, the more I slept on it, and I heard what some of the other podcasters were saying yesterday with their picks, and I've switched it. Brutalist is now my second choice. My first choice is Wicked. I think Wicked's going to take this one.
Ooh.
Here's the thing that sucks, dude. These are all fucking stacked production designs.
I know, like, part of me just really wants to put Conclave.
Yeah, because they fucking built the Vatican.
I do think that you are right in that. I think it's going to Wicked as much as I would like it to go to Brutalist.
Yeah.
So my choices are actually the same on this one.
Okay. And here's the thing. You know it's a good year for production design when The Substance doesn't get nominated, but then when I looked at the nominees and was like, those are pretty good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to do Best Sound, Best Noise.
Best Noise, my favorite.
This one may be controversial, but I refuse to move my point on this. My number one choice is Wicked. My number two choice is Dune Part 2. I'm picking Wicked number one because, statistically, there's 3 musicals on here. Statistically, one of them will take it. But Les Mis also won Best Original Sound, and they also sang live during that movie. And I feel like for people in that part of the Academy, or just people who, enjoy things, they know how difficult that is to mix in the live singing. And I also think that the other fantasy elements that movie has going for it will help its chances with sound. So I'm going to go Wicked number 1, Dune Part 2 number 2.
See, I'm going to do the flip. I'm going to go Dune 1 and Wicked number 2.
Okay.
Solely for the fact of that I saw both of them in Dolby. And I'm just going off of the vibes and the feelings that the noises gave me.
Best noise.
Best noise.
Here's what I will say.
The noise in Dune.
If I were picking my favorite, I would pick Dune. But I got this feeling about Wicked, man. I got this feeling it's going to take it. Let's go to Best Visual Effects. By the way, I don't think I did the nominees for the past few, so that's on me. Really quick, the nominees for score were Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. Original song, Emilia Perez, 6888, Sing Sing, Emilia Perez again, and Elton John, Never Too Late. Production design, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. And sound were A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. Visual effects. The nominees are Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. My number one choice is Dune Part 2. My number two choice is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I wanted to put it...
Monkeys.
Yes, I wanted to put it as number one, but I just think it's tradition now that it has to lose. So Dune Part 2 it is.
There are 3 monkeys in this category.
Yes.
That's entertaining. I'm doing the same, though.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to almost maybe throw in Alien Romulus for that fucker at the end, but apparently he was practical, and I said no. But man, those like space shots.
Yeah, they looked great.
Like, I think hitting the glacier ring or something, like that was incredible.
It looked great. The only downside was like the CGI on the robot. Everything else looked fantastic.
Yeah, and Better Man, I also thought about it, but it is just, there's a lot of CGI in it. The rigging on him was great. It was fantastic, but comparing it then directly to another monkey movie with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, it's just so much better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes have helped their chances by releasing the cut of the movie without the VFX. I thought that was very smart.
Yeah. No, it was, absolutely.
Moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay, bruh.
Oh, boy.
The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. My number one choice is Conclave. My number two choice is Nickel Boys.
Give
it to me.
I am going to go Conclave number 1.
Okay.
I am going to go Conclave number 1.
You doing Sing Sing number 2? You thinking about it?
Part of me really wants to go complete unknown, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
I've got this weird pit of like old Academy voters of like
Mm-hmm.
Bob Dylan. I remember when he went electric.
Fair.
And then you watch the movie and you're like, he does in fact go
Go
electric. You
electric.
know what? But the thing is, the screenplay for Nickel Boy, like if you're looking at the actual, it's such a
Yeah.
hard one, right?
Yeah. So I wanted to vote for Sing Sing, but it not having a Best Picture nomination kind of takes it out of the running for me. And it doesn't
That's
it doesn't feel like a category where they're going to rally behind it to give it this one award. It doesn't feel like Get Out did when it came out. And even then, I think Get Out had a Best Picture nomination, if I'm not mistaken. So
I'm gonna go complete unknown as my number 2.
okay.
I'm going to regret probably not doing Nickel Boys,
Hey, until a complete unknown wins and you scream in the living room.
but I am just hoping that Conclave takes it and my number 1 pick is safe.
All right. Let's move on to a category that gave me an immense headache. Original screenplay.
Yeah.
The nominees are Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance.
Stacked.
My number one
That is
pick is Go ahead.
Oh, that is just it's a stacked category. That's a
So
fact.
my headache caused me because I think there's 2 that are in the running, and it's the 2 I picked. But man, do you know how cool it would be if The Substance got a dark horse win here, brother? Oh, that would be sick. But the 2 that I picked, my number 1 choice was Honora, and my number 2 choice is A Real Pain.
Yeah, I am fully with you on that. Those
Okay.
are exactly my 2. I would love to see again The Substance win. I don't think September 5. I think the nomination is the win in this scenario. I haven't really heard much about that movie outside of this one nomination that it had.
Fair.
I think The Substance to me feels the most original and unique. But man, Honora's just that's a tight movie that just moves.
Yeah.
And same with Real Pain, that wittiness. I think you can really make a strong argument for that. But I'm going
100%.
Honora and Honora Real Pain.
Yeah, same. Let's move on to makeup and hairstyling.
Oh boy.
The nominees are A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. My number 1 choice is The Substance. My number 2 choice is A Different Man.
I'm going The Substance number 1 because I genuinely I do not think that The Substance is going home empty-handed.
Oh yeah, no.
And I think this is the one where it takes it
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go Wicked number 2.
Okay.
I think that the makeup like the makeup work on Sebastian Stan in Different Man is fantastic. I think Orlok looks amazing in Nosferatu. But I've got this again. It's kind of going back to your score thing. Like I feel like some Academy voters are just going to see Wicked and go for it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. There's a lot of makeup in that movie, and not just Cynthia Erivo. There's tons of fantasy elements. It's a good choice.
No, it's safe. Yeah.
All right. You want to get you want to get into it, buddy?
Let's do it.
Best International Feature Film. The nominees are I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Emilia Perez, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. My number 1 choice is I'm Still Here. My number 2 choice is Flow. I think Emilia Perez is fully out of the running for this award.
Ooh. See, I thought about putting Flow because, but I think there's a chance it takes animated, and because of that, I don't think it's going to take international. So I'm going to go I'm Still Here as my first choice.
Okay.
That movie is fantastic. Yep. And I am going to go Emilia Perez number 2.
Okay. That's fair. That's completely fair.
I feel like I'm going to play it safe here on the off chance it does sneak in and take it.
Hey, listen, that's fair.
I
I mean,
disagree.
it was the front runner for several months, so
It
that's fair.
is, it is, and a lot of the controversy happened like halfway through voting. So I'm curious where those votes lie
Hmm.
now. How many front loaded and submitted fully with it.
Yeah, fair. Best film editing. The nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. My number one choice is Conclave. My number two choice is Anora. That one was tough. I flip-flop on that one a few times. And I think my primary reason for picking Conclave is that movie should not be compelling. And it
Mm.
so is. And the director's not nominated. And I think the second best thing behind the directing in that movie was the editing. The third thing being the score. But like, it's edited
Yeah.
phenomenally.
No, I'm actually copying you. I've always had Conclave as number one for editing for
Mm-hmm.
me. I was going to do The Brutalist at number two,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was finally able to watch Anora. That movie fucking flies, and it knows, the editing of when to draw out a scene, when, the energy that it
Yep.
creates was palpable to me.
Yep.
So I'm putting that as my second. I may even regret doing it as my first, but again, I don't know. Conclave became sort of a surprise hit in the Oscar race
Mm-hmm.
that I was honestly shocked by. Quite frankly, I didn't think it was a movie that was going to pick up as much steam as it did.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's going to go empty-handed. So I think it may be able to garner some of these technical awards, especially because like The Brutalist, man, has just been in no conversations. It's crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Moving on to best documentary feature film. You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
The nominees are Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. Don't get mad at me, Nicholas. My number one pick is Porcelain War. My number two pick
Whoa.
is No Other Land. The reason I went with Porcelain War is because it is the only documentary that has been winning and has been nominated in all of the precursor documentary awards, and No Other Land does not have distribution, period. So, yes, the Academy has access to watch it, but there are a couple things to take in mind there. One, there are probably a lot of Academy members, and I don't mean to assume, but there are a lot of Academy members who are probably not as pro-Palestine as they want us to think they are. And two, the no distribution thing does hurt just the backing behind it for a campaign. And I feel like, how awesome would it be if it wins documentary and then it gets distribution? That would be amazing. That'd be a great story to see. I'd love to see it win. I just don't know if it has the backing to do so. So Porcelain War it is.
Interesting. So I'm doing the same two but flipped.
Okay.
So my number one is No Other Land, and my number two is Porcelain War.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that one, I think all of them are very topical and very relevant, which is always a big push.
Yep.
To me, I found No Other Land to be the most impactful of these.
Mm-hmm.
My second favorite, though, however, was Black Box Diaries. I thought that that was a phenomenally made documentary, and one that I would recommend people watch. Dealing with sort of like a sexual assault and things like that. So be warned about that before watching. But Porcelain War was it had a compelling element to it. There was a lot of like camaraderie and everything. So I could see it as sort of taking this like underdog type approach. So that's why I'm putting it as my number two.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping No Other Land number one.
Hey, good. I hope it does win. I would love to see it win and to even get distribution from that. That would be great. Next, let's do costume design. The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I think this is a lock. I think this is Wicked's award to lose. I'm going to go Wicked number one and Conclave number two. Personally,
I'm going Wicked number one, and I'm going to go. Yeah, I think I want to go Nosferatu.
Do it. Do it,
I
man.
don't know why.
Because it's got good costumes. That's why.
No, I know that, but like I don't. There's something where like a lot of the Conclave one, it was the same costume because they're
Hmm.
all cardinals and everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there are little distinctions, right, to make them different. But I feel like it's like, well, they made like three. They made
Hmm.
three costumes. I'm going to go Nosferatu number two.
No, that's fair. That's completely fair. The only reason
But
I
I'm
put
doing that safely because Wicked is a lock in winning that.
yeah, I put Conclave number 2 because there was one precursor award where it won, and Wicked took the rest of them. But so I was like, maybe just in case we'll put Conclave there.
Just to be safe.
Yeah. All right. Best cinematography. This is also one that I have since changed from when I recorded the We Bought a Mic podcast. The nominees are The Brutalist, Doom Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. By the way, Maria winning the ASC award threw me for a fucking loop when choosing this. I was like, God damn it. But it ultimately didn't. It ultimately didn't sway me. When I was on the We Bought a Mic podcast, I firmly said Dune Part 2 was going to win this award. It's my personal favorite cinematography of the year, particularly when you're on the planet where the Harkonnen planet and you see like the fireworks that look like ink. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is what movies are. But I changed my answer today. I changed this answer like an hour ago.
I like when the guys float in Dune at the beginning. I bet it feels fucking great.
The reason why I switched my answer an hour ago, dude, every conversation about The Brutalist is about that shot of the Statue of Liberty upside down, which is just a key component of the opening scene of the film. It sets the tone, and it's like what makes you pay attention to the cinematography. So I'm going Brutalist number 1, Doom Part 2 number 2.
I am doing the same. I did not have Dune as number 1. I always had Brutalist as being my number 1. To me, I think Brutalist may have been my favorite movie of last year.
Yeah.
Amongst all of them. And it has not been in a lot of conversations. I think like with its limited release, the runtime, I think there's a lot of elements to it. And while it is very present on the ballot, I really do think there's a chance that it does go home and empty-handed. Outside of like, maybe Adrian Brody takes actor, but I think there's a possibility Brutalist could go home empty-handed, which is why I think it'll get cinematography.
Fair. That's completely fair.
Like, I think that is the here's your Oscar. Great job.
Solid analysis. My theory goes into play a little bit later why I think you're slightly wrong, but it's not a bad theory. All right, let's do Best Animated Feature Film. The nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. I have The Wild Robot as number 1, and Flow is my number 2. Flow has been getting great conversations, and it's nominated for other awards, but so is Wild Robot. I think that if Wild Robot was not in contention, and Inside Out 2 was the big lock, essentially, I would have put my money on Flow, because then we would have a boy in the heron situation. But I think this is more of a Spider-Verse versus Incredibles 2 situation, where I think that the Oscars and the Academy really want to celebrate a studio film that's well-beloved, is great, and is not Disney. And I feel like that is the move for this year. But I have Flow at number 2 because everything I just said could easily be applied to that film as well, especially because it kind of came out of nowhere and was able to lock these nominations. So I'm still going Wild Robot number 1, but Flow is solid number 2.
I am going flipped. I'm having Flow as taking it and Wild Robot in second there. But I do see your strong argument toward it. But I feel like the Oscars lately, too, have also been celebrating movies much more presently at an international scale. So I think also then having an animated movie take that would be a great sign toward that. But now the answer is, did the Academy voters watch the movie, or did their kids really like Wild Robot,
Yep. Which has been a trend in
which
the past before.
is the gamble of it, but I'm going to go Flow.
Yeah. And look, I think that's all solid analysis. The reason why I'm going Wild Robot is because when you think about Boy and the Heron versus Spider-Verse, Boy and the Heron is not directed by Miyazaki. No chance, I think. And, I feel like Flow is just missing that extra oomph of a recognizable director. But
it is. I think I
wrong.
might be going into my own personal feelings on it. I think that Wild Robot has third act issues. I think that versus Flow sustained and engaged me without dialogue and just off of score and the relationship with the animals. And I just found it impactful, and I really like the animation style.
Yeah, no, understandable. Here we go, buddy. Best director. The nominees are Sean Baker, Anora, Brady Corbet, The Brutalist, James Mangold, A Complete Unknown, Jacques Godard, Emilia Perez, Coralie Ferguit, The Substance. Unlike you, I think the Academy is going to honor The Brutalist in a big, bad way, and I think it's with this award. Brady Corbet is my number one choice. My number two choice is Sean Baker for Anora. Because, spoiler alert, I think Anora's path to victory is different than taking this award. Although Adam on We Bought Mike brought up a really good point about a path to victory that I'll bring up when we get to Best Picture.
I'm going Anora, Sean Baker, number one, and I'm going Brady Corbet, Brutalist, number two.
Okay.
I think Anora's just been in so many more conversations.
I agree.
And I think that Sean Baker has become a recognizable name for the work he's done on his movies, and I don't think he's gotten recognized, I believe, in the Oscars in the past, right? But never in the way where it's oh fuck, this movie's nominated for Best Picture, it might even win Best Picture. And so I think that there's a strong argument that in these top categories, right, when we're talking director and everything, I do think that it's possible that Anora takes a good chunk of these. And so I'm going with Sean Baker as my number one and Brady Corbet as a very, 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 very close number two.
That's completely fair. That's completely fair. And our heads are in both the right place, just flipped situations. But I'll kind of explain my choice when we get to a later category.
Okay.
Next up, let's do actor in a supporting role. We have Yura Borisov in Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. I think it's Kieran's award to lose. I have him as my first choice for A Real Pain. However, my second choice, I have Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. I would not be shocked if he pulls off the upset win, because there's gonna be a what the fuck upset win that happens. It happens every year, and I think it could be Edward Norton, but my number one choice is still Kieran Culkin.
I am going Kieran Culkin. Number one, again, like you said, I think it's his award to lose. I'm going Guy Pearce as my second one.
Okay.
I think when you look at a supporting performance in terms of how they're elevating the story and supporting the story and the lead, right? Correct. I think Kieran Culkin does a phenomenal job in Real Pain. I think there's a bit of category fraud because I do think that he is a co-lead in that movie, but he has been running the conversation. But if you look at all the other ones in terms of supporting the main objective of the film and the movie, right? Yura Borisov gives a very compelling, empathetic performance, right? You feel for the character with not really a lot of dialogue. Edward Norton was very solid in Complete Unknown. Complete Unknown to me is a solid movie. And Jeremy Strong was great in the Apprentice. But if you're talking about just supporting and elevating the story, man, Guy Pearce just comes in like a wrecking ball in The Brutalist and just absolutely crushes it, in my opinion. So I would not be even surprised if maybe there was an upset, but I think Kieran is sweeping all of these awards. I think it really is if he doesn't win, that is a huge upset.
100%.
He is pretty much the only lock, if you ask me, of this whole award season.
To be honest, I don't think there are any locks. I think there are several front runners. He's obviously the front runner, but we could see Glenn Close, Olivia Colman situation, like it's not impossible. And by the way, I agree with everything you said about Guy Pearce and The Brutalist. I just have not heard any conversation around him in regard to winning the award.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't give him my second choice. All right, next up, Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Nominees are Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Barbaro, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. I think this is also a frontrunner that's very obvious, and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. I think she's done an excellent job in her campaign of avoiding the controversy and being out there, being out front, and she is the best thing about the movie, period. And my second choice is actually going to go to Ariana Grande for Wicked. I think she gives a very powerful, amazing comedic performance that kind of blew everyone away in terms of it being really unexpected. I could see a Monica Barbaro dark horse win here, but I've heard more conversation around Ariana and Zoe, so I'm going to stick with Zoe as number 1, Ariana number 2.
I am going Zoe and Ariana. Zoe first, Ariana second. I did not put Ariana Grande, I think, in my nomination predictions. So I will not make that mistake again. Because, yeah, that's the reason. But I do think Zoe Saldana is a very big front runner in my opinion, but I would not be shocked if Ariana Grande's name is called on Sunday.
Yeah, no, same. All right, let's get into the shit, buddy.
Let's do it.
Actor in a leading role.
Actor.
The nominees are Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet, Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. After much deliberation, I'm going Adrian Brody number 1, Timothy Chalamet number 2. I think that... Wait, go really quick.
No, good, yeah.
Timothy Chalamet winning the SAG was huge, but it was after Oscar voting had closed. And it's also, with the Oscars, they tend to make lead male actors wait, a la Leonardo DiCaprio and several other examples. Supporting performances, they give it to you early, and Best Lead Actress, they give it to you early. However, a la Brendan Fraser as well versus Austin Butler. Adrian Brody commands that movie for 3.5 hours. And he does it flawlessly. And I don't think any controversy surrounding The Brutalist will affect this award's chance at all. Timothy Chalamet, if they call his name, I will not be upset in the slightest because he gives a phenomenal performance, and I think he's one of the best actors working today. But I think Oscars are going to Oscar, and they're going to make him wait.
Have you seen the anonymous Oscar ballots that were like, oh, I voted for Adrian Brody because Ray Fiennes already had an Oscar?
Yeah, and Ray Fiennes has never won.
and Adrian Brody has.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And I think that, and I agree with you. So I'm going Adrian Brody number 1. I'm going Timothy Chalamet number 2. I think because Adrian Brody has won an Oscar, I feel like that really puts him above these other 4 actors that have not won. I feel like it's like an established, safe choice. I do think that Timothy Chalamet is amazing in A Complete Unknown. I thought he gives a great performance. He's lost in that role, as he does with everything. I did not think that I'd be able to watch Wicked and Dune 2 like a month apart, and I did, and didn't think about, same thing with like Austin Butler with Elvis, and then going into Dune 2. But I do think that it's going to serve as, especially based off of Timothy Chalamet's SAG speech about wanting to be one of the greats. I could see one that rubbing people the wrong way because it's typically not a thing that people say, but then also making him want to work for it, because I could then see the argument of like, well, if he wants to be one of the greats and he does this, what the fuck is he going to do next? What does his next thing look like?
Yeah.
A very long-winded way of saying I think Adrian Brody, but I do think that over the next several years, we are going to see the names Timothy Chalamet and Coleman Domingo quite a lot.
100%. By the way, look out for the Ray Fiennes dark horse win. Look out for that. It could happen. I think there's an amazing dark horse opportunity in actress as well, which we'll get into in a second. By a second, I mean right now. Best Actress in a Leading Role. The nominees are, and this is the one that fucked me up the most, dude.
Yep.
Actress in a leading role, we have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madsen for Anora, Demi Moore, The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. This is another one where I'm changing my answer that I gave on We Bought a Mic. I had Demi Moore winning this award because I was thinking about the Brendan Fraser route of victory. But I now see this more as Emma Stone versus Lily Gladstone. And I think Demi Moore is the Lily Gladstone in the current position right now. And I feel like the love and power behind Anora is very real. And it will push Mikey Madsen to the number 1 spot. So I have Mikey Madsen number 1, Demi Moore number 2. But for the love of God, look out for that Fernanda Torres Dark Horse win. She could easily take this. It's incredibly difficult. But yeah.
I've been going back and forth on those three, specifically on it, because there's such strong arguments of can Fernanda Torres maybe sneak in and just clear it.
And by the way, her speech would be fucking amazing if she won.
Oh, fantastic, right? And then you have Demi Moore, who's been winning the awards, right? Or if her and Mikey Madison just sort of flip-flop.
Mikey's taken a couple. Mikey took BAFTA and she took another one, I think. But Demi's been winning most of them.
Is it... I really want to put Demi and Fernanda, but I feel like Anora is just so in the conversation.
Here's something that could put you at ease. This could be the Barbie scenario of Barbie got all kinds of love except for Barbie.
Yeah.
You could have that scenario. And by the way, I just want to say, I would love to see any of the three win, personally. I would love to see Mikey win. I would really love to see Demi win. That would be great. Because it's also kind of the theme of The Substance is proving that you still have worth at that age in this industry. It'd be great to see. And Fernanda Torres, the only
versus losing to the young actress.
Yeah, but Fernanda Torres, the only Brazilian actress who's ever been nominated for the award other than her is her mother. So if she wins, like, what a story, No,
I mean, you have phenomenal stories just all around. I have decided I'm going Demi Moore number 1.
Woo!
And I'm going Mikey Madison number 2, and I immediately regret it, but it's highlighted, so it's locked.
It's locked. Oh shit! That's what I had yesterday. That's literally what I had yesterday. So I changed it several times.
All day I was Demi and Fernanda 1 and 2.
Oh,
I really
could happen.
I think Demi has it. I think it's a great story that ties well to the themes of the movie.
Hey, 100%.
She is a industry staple, and I think that is the plus side of it.
And that's all fair. All fair. I just had an epiphany after I recorded yesterday where I was like, no, I got to go with my gut and say Mikey. I could be completely wrong, though. I recognize this. And I'll get to why I picked it here in a second again. Is all that's left Best Picture?
Let's see. On to the...
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Best fucking picture, dude. You ready? The nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. My number 1 pick is Anora. Remember, you get 3 for our game.
Yeah.
My number 2 pick is The Brutalist. My number 3 pick is Conclave. Now, something I want to bring up that I've teased before. I think Anora's path to victory, Nicholas, is the Coda path to victory. Screenplay, picture, and an acting award. I think that's the path. Now, I just have a funny feeling that that's the path. I could be completely wrong. Because Adam on We Bought a Mic yesterday brought up a really good point. He thinks that the Anora path to victory is the Parasite one of just sweeping. And he has Sean Baker winning all 4 Oscars he's nominated for and breaking the record for most Oscars won in a day.
Yeah.
I don't see that just because while I feel the Anora hive is real, it does not feel like Parasite's. Because even then, Parasite had so much hype that it went into denial of, but the Oscars aren't cool enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Anora has reached that. Now, I could be wrong, But for some reason, I just feel the coda path to victory of acting, screenplay, picture. Take it home. Could be wrong, though, but those are my 3 picks.
Uh, I have the same picks, and
Okay.
I honestly though all day Honora's been locked for number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a real possibility. I think to me it feels like the front runner. I had Conclave as my number 2 for a good chunk of the day.
Okay.
And just the more I thought about it, I think the hype is there for the movie, but I feel like for the people that have watched The Brutalist, that were the voting members of the Academy, I feel like to me, between those two, Brutalist is the clear better movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you get over that 3.5 hour runtime and all of that, I think that to me that comes in as the clear front runner. To me, I think it's the best personally, but I do see a very strong argument for Conclave. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. But I do think that this is. I think it's like a 70% chance at Honora.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe 20 and whatever the rest of the math is on the other one. So I may regret that, but that's where I'm at.
So just to double check for me, and sorry to put you on the spot, do you have the Honora Path to Victory as just picture director? Or did you give it editing as well?
No, I gave Honora screenplay.
Mm-hmm. Screenplay, picture director.
Screenplay, picture director. I had Conclave as taking editing.
Okay, because I have it on the screen. I have it on screenplay as well.
Yeah. Did you give it editing?
No, I give it to Conclave.
Okay, so I think we have the same choices for Honora.
Yeah. And before we wrap it up, I just want to say, usually the first award of the night is one of the supportings. It's either supporting actor or supporting actress.
Yeah.
That will set the tone for the night, because we think if there's going to be a shock win, it's in those categories, because Kieran and Zoe are the only big frontrunners. So if anyone other than them win right off the bat of the show, oh man, we're in for a good time. And I think someone pointed out that usually the previous winner of the opposite gender presents you the award. So Iron Man might give Gamora an Oscar, which is cool. But guys, those are our picks. Those are our official... Dude, I feel sick to my fucking stomach. Those are our picks for the official Academy ballots for 2025 Oscars. Please let us know in the comments what your picks are. We would love to see them. We'd love to see some friendly debate going on. I do want to shout out before we leave. Victoria Short in the live chat said that, gotta log off, but I loved this. Excited to see who wins this year. I'm excited too. It's going to be a hell of a fucking show. We will be filming a reaction to the Academy Awards. It won't be live. We'll post it probably the following day, but there will be some sort of video reaction for that, so be on the lookout for that. It will not be lit well. I'm sorry. But with that down, Nick, do you want to add anything else before we go?
No, I mean, as always, you can find links to our social medias down in the description as well. Feel free, if you play along in the game with the Oscar ballot, tag us in your ballot pick, and we'd love to see it. And be on the lookout for some fun reviews that might be coming up quite soon. I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah,
I'll give spoilers. We got the whole season of Daredevil. We're gonna do the review on Tuesday.
Dare we? Yes, we did get access to the full season of Daredevil Born Again season 1. So be on the lookout for that review.
Yes, it's coming.
It'll be coming to the channel. I think the embargo is next Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Be on the lookout for that. And if you see Dalton and I with a little extra gleam in our eye, a little spark of happiness that maybe you didn't see there before, know that Matthew Murdock is back alive. I don't want to say alive and well, but
yes.
But is he ever?
Yes.
But yeah, and if you like what you saw today, obviously, we are less than, I think, 60 subscribers away from a 5,000 goal.
Yes.
Really just a nice number to have. So make sure to subscribe for more videos and movie content.
Yes, that was great, Nick. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for watching, and we will see you at the Oscars.